Have to create a what? Oh, okay. That's good to know. So I hope I can smile for the camera. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Let me know when I can start greeting everybody. Okay, maybe what you can do is ask people to, more people to, those who haven't liked the video to like, so that if you sense any increase in the number of likes, you can know that people can hear you. Is there a reaction? Okay. Okay. Any reactions? Yes. Okay. So that means we can, yeah. Like I can start speaking because I think we're already live. Okay. So hello everybody. Good evening. Good evening from Nigeria. If you're from any other country outside of Nigeria and you're in a different time zone, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm happy to be here, and I'd like to thank the organizers of this inaugural summit for doing something very remarkable at a time like this. Um, Although I am the last speaker for today, I am really excited because I know that there is a lot for us to share. And from the snippets of the talks from the other speakers, I can say that there is a lot for us to discuss on this particular session with regards to wherever or whatever path that we have described or we aspire to get to. So that means whether you want to diversify from hospital care like scientist Nonya has said, or you want to go into research and all of that, you also need to build your professional network. So I think that this topic is timely and is relevant for us to talk about it today before we delve into other days, so that you have things in hand that you want to achieve. One caveat is that I'm actually looking at my slide. I can't see anybody's face just in case. But if you have any questions, don't forget to drop them in the comment section of the YouTube series, and somebody will get to pick it out for me, maybe one of the moderators, or I'll get to look through the chat and then get to answer. So today's topic is on building your network for professional advancement. And I would want you to look at three key things: building and professional advancement, because they are like the key for you to be able to understand, or for you to be able to digest whatever it is that you want to achieve in the essence of all of this, and then the entire presentation. We already have an idea of who I am. The bios have gone out and all of that. But then just to point out a few things: that I have a very high sense of humor. which I won't be bringing all of them into today's presentation so that we don't lose the touch of what we want to talk about. That I love songs by Johnny Drill and Emma Baga, and that you can find me across all social media platforms with the username at I am Chidindu. Our focus points for today's session will be to look at networking and why it is important. Who should be in your network? This is a question that we would have to answer. And then by answering that, we have to understand the network circle. And then we look at the skills and tools that you will need for networking, and then where and how to network with people. It's important for me to also say that this does not exhaust all that there is to networking for professional advancement. But then as we keep going, would learn a thing or two that we can take and then extrapolate to what we're already building or what we're already doing. And then also get to hear some of your experiences in the comment section on YouTube. And then other people are able to learn and then integrate with whatever it is that they take out from this session. So let's dive in. If you're not on Twitter, or if you're not on Twitter, of course, you should get on Twitter. A lot of things happen there every day. In fact, I feel that that's the best, not the best really, but that's the easiest way to get information about what's currently happening. But then if you're on Twitter and you have anything that probably hits you, I probably just dropped something that is very heavy and you need to just quote it as it is. Please don't forget to tweet at I am Chidindu and also tweet at LEADMedLab with the hashtags for this event, just so that we know the direction of where the whatever it is that you caught came from. Thank you very much as you do. So the first thing that we need to sit or pause and think about is to ask, what does networking mean to you? It's important for us to, what language will I use now? To calm down. To calm down and think about the word networking, and then to know what networking means to you. Because in Nigeria, it means a lot of things to a lot of people. And I'm going to ask, what does networking mean to you? Feel free to leave it in the comments. Feel free to think about it. Feel free to talk about it. Feel free to explore your dictionary, because of course, I still have to explore dictionaries for me to come up with the meaning I'm about to put out today. And why we have to define this is because there are lots of misconceptions around network marketing, and hopefully as we go, I'll get to share some of the stories or some of the encounters that I have had. And if there's no time, of course, we'll skip that and stick to what is the most important. Networking means the action or process of interacting with others, usually people with a common profession or special interest, to exchange information and ideas, to develop mutually beneficial professional or social contacts that are nurtured by regular communication. So you can see that the key words that sort of resonated with me and may resonate with you are the ones I have emboldened. They are in bold. And I highlight them as interacting with others, exchanging information and ideas, developing mutually beneficial professional or social contacts, and then regular communication. Of course, as we go into the presentation proper, we will talk about all these things. But one thing I want to sort of remove from our minds is to think that networking is solely to just get. I'm coming to network so I can just find job, who knows? So I just throw my net anywhere. If I catch gorilla in the river, if I catch fish, it's also good. If I catch scorpion, it's also good, even if we know that those things are not there. But then it's about exchange. It's about something that is mutually beneficial, and it's also nurtured by regular communication. So I want you to pay attention to these things as we move ahead. I've tried to highlight why networking is important, and one of the things I did was to pick out the first three things that resonated with me from the definition. And like I said, I had to look through a lot of definitions to look at the things that I needed to bring out that were important, and then to put it together just so I could share the key things with you. And the first three key things are: one, to interact with others. You cannot really network if you're not having interactions with people. And interactions are basically things that happen via conversations, right? Conversations that are, word of mouth interaction, and then people get to explore, look at your body language, and see what's your attitude to certain kinds of things that they raise in the conversation can be like, and then to also test other things like your emotional intelligence and all of that. So networking is important so that you can interact with others, because it is by interacting with others that you get to know what it is that is ahead, or what you should expect, or whether you should advance, whether you should retreat. So networking is important for that. And then people don't, because we live in a world where, as much as we have social media with us, we're always pinging somebody, always WhatsApping, always Instagramming, and all of that. People hardly forget people that they have face-to-face interactions with. So whether it's a face-to-face interaction like a Zoom one-on-one meeting, or a Zoom meeting where people are allowed to show their faces, or offline events, or regular communication, people do not forget that networking. And that's like the core. So it is to interact with others. I did not say to go and snap selfie. You just snap selfie near the celebrity, and then nothing memorable happens. They forget you, you forget them. In fact, I think that we live in the age where it's not just about who you know, it's also about who knows you. But the most important thing is to start by interacting. So that's why it's important. The next thing is to exchange important information and ideas. So in interacting with people, there are things that they say. Those things that they say are information. Those pieces of information, those pieces of ideas that they share are things that on a very good day, you would not have been able to probably figure by yourself. But then by interacting with these people, you get to know what it is that they have to offer. You get to know their ideas about certain things, their ideologies, what they think about certain things, their opinion, and a whole lot of things. So that's why networking is important. Like I said, to exchange important information and ideas. The third is to develop and expand professional contacts. So it's not enough to say, oh, I met with so and so and we spoke, so and so and we had this, we talked about that. You want to take it to the next step. You want to have those people within your radar. And that's why it's important to develop that contact, to say, oh, is it possible for me to reach you? Can I have your number, or whatever it is that you can ask politely for. And if in such occasion that is not possible, you already know what to do. Engage with them via social media and try to be as memorable as you can. And one key thing I like to tell people is, when you meet people offline, I do this very often, and I find their minds very interesting, and I think that, oh, these are people I need to engage with. One of the things that I do is to try and follow up on social media with the conversation. Hey, so and so, we met at so and so. I love your so and so and so and so and so. I would like to, And next thing, if you're very detailed, because people don't like people wasting their time. You're already connected, whether it's on LinkedIn, on social media, and all the other platforms as you think they engage most in. So it's not just about phone numbers and all of that. It's also about engaging with them on social platforms and trying to follow what it is that they do. And then by that means, they're able to also link you to other people who are also interested in the kinds of things that you do. Because remember, I said it's mutually beneficial. It's not a slave-master relationship. It's thank God we're all medical laboratory scientists. It is a mutually beneficial relationship, and of course, that's what we call symbiosis, right? I'm sure that's what it is. So it has to be that way. Then the next thing is to build confidence and communication skills. I've heard people say that they are afraid to interact with people, that they feel that they are not confident enough, and they want to learn. And the only thing I can remember or I can say is, as old or as popular as the proverb that we already know, that we learn to do by doing. You can't ride a bicycle by imagining that you're riding a bicycle, right? So for you to build confidence, you have to keep up with number one, which is to interact with people. And then when you go back, you check what went wrong, what didn't go wrong. This is how I will improve. This is how I will speak better. This is how I will listen better. This is how I will take feedback better. This is how I will dress better. This is how I will speak better, and all of that. So that's why networking is important. The fifth thing is to broaden your perspectives and to find opportunities. One of the things that maybe select this and put this out here is that it stemmed from one of my volunteering experiences from ProHealth. And I remember that in one of the experiences, the one in 2018, where we had to travel to northeastern Nigeria, to Yobe and to Borno, it sort of taught me a lesson. At some point, I saw that there were things that I was not good at. and I would not have known if I did not interact with people. So there's this thing that we say in Igbo that for like people feel like they are self-satisfied until you see people who know better, who have been to places that you have not been, who know things that you don't know, who know people that you don't know. So by networking with these people, you're able to broaden your perspectives around a lot of things that you thought you knew before. And then to also find opportunities, usually very surprising opportunities that these people might just be, they just see it as very regular thing that they access on a very easy. But for you, it's something that you really need, and it's something that is quite scarce. So it could be jobs, it could be fellowships, it could be somebody engaging in a passion project and all of that. By the way, even if you don't have a job, you should have a passion project. I mean, that's like something that forms the basis for the conversation that you want to have when you're networking. So that's that for number 5. Number 6 is to build strong references for your career path. So there are people that you can't know except you know other people. And I'm not sure really how to explain this, but I've had to have occasions where for me to move to a particular step, or for me to take a particular decision, or for me to be involved in certain things, I've had to refer back to people that I have worked with. And that's at this point where I would say, please, if you work for somebody, do not bang the door when you're leaving, because you never know. You never just do not, as much as possible, do not. It could be, sir, I have a very bad experience in part of my entire work history. But even at that, make sure that your leaving does not cause any, like, it's not like you backbiting anybody, bringing them out on social media to insult them, as long as it is not a threat to life or anything that is really grave. So if you want to build, if you want to network so that you can build strong references, it's important to know where you're coming from. If your paths are not clean, please go and clean it up. Go and clean your DM. Those ones that you used to, insult people and do all sorts of things. Clean it up, because you never know who knows who and who knows what. I'm not saying you should live in fear, but I know that from my experience that people, especially there's some tasks that you want to do and people want to ask you for reference from your former employer, reference from your school teacher, reference from, so please keep the picture of the future in view, in whatever it is that you're doing. And with that, I think that I've exhausted on my list why I think networking is important. If you have any other thing that you would want to add, please leave them in the comments. I will go through them and I will also pick them out. Another thing you want to pay attention to is who should be in your network. So this list is inexhaustible. There could be much more, like I said at the beginning of the session. But I need people to understand that networking can happen. Can anyone hear me? Okay. So I need you to understand that networking can happen across all forms of audiences. It could be a large audience, it could be a small audience, it could be just like we have in way back in university when we learned things about verbal, non-verbal communication, channels of communication, that we said stuff could be vertical, it could be horizontal, right? So we could also have that with networking. And of course, you have in this circle your schoolmates, people that you work with, people that are younger than you. I need to stress that, because the higher we go, the more things get to advance. You need somebody who is keeping up with the trends to be within your network, so that they tell you when you're outdated, so that you will not go and embarrass your ancestors, But then that's that. Then you also need to have experts and senior professionals, your chosen career path, or in the area of the of personal, professional development that you want to aspire to. You want to have somebody that is within that area, or somebody that already has an experience doing the kind of thing that you just started, or you've just started. Sorry, or you have just kicked off, so that you can engage with them and get to know the things that they did right, the things that they did wrong, and then to get better and to know what to avoid. You also want to have thought leaders, influencers, and amplifiers in your network, especially in the niche that you want to grow in. And why did I have to talk about thought leaders, influencers, and amplifiers? Because these people are people that are already known in that particular area, doing a lot of work, especially online and of course offline. But where influencers and amplifiers come in. By the way, I need to explain who influencers are and who amplifiers are. So influencer is somebody that already has an impact with the message that they give out, right? So they have, most times they come with a lot of following, but then people get to follow them because of the impact that they make and all of that, and there's some sort of engagement. So in the health sector, we have a lot of influencers. We have Dr. Zobo and the likes of them. Then we also have amplifiers. Those ones are people who are just they're just passionate about helping to amplify. So more like when you think of the retweet button on Twitter, or the regrand button on Instagram. So these ones help to escalate whatever message it is that other people are putting out. And usually amplifiers often end up being influencers anyways, but then it's important to have these people in your network. Then last but not the least, relevant low cadre staff. Where I worked in Jos, there was a cleaner that often had a final say in a few things though. Why? She was doing cleaning for the fun of it. Her children were made. They were all doing well. Some were outside of the country, but she decided that she would not be idle. She wanted to work. She wanted to still be able to contribute meaningfully and to help people that were around her. So I find it often funny that, well, I think it's almost a normal thing with life that people want to look at the position of a person before they start considering the humanity of that person. But in your network, you need to have people that are some sort of gatekeepers. And it could be the guys that are at the gates who will give you information when so and so person is around, the chef, whom your guy is well pleased, the janitor, the office assistant. These people are necessary because you will need their contacts. Not necessarily that you'll be engaging with them on a regular, but then they could know what you do not know and could actually help you access what you may not ordinarily just go in there yourself to access. So big or small, you need to figure out who you need to be in your network at the moment. And now it's time for us to understand what the network circle looks like, because we have highlighted the list of people that you can engage with and all of that. And usually people want to start out as they just say, okay, see this professor on Twitter, I need to know him. And then people are different. People just have this, you message them on Twitter, of course they might engage with you, but then it's a different thing if they have to engage with you through somebody that they know. So that's why relationships are important. And the network circle actually shows us the people that could be in your network. We have the inner circle. Those ones are people that are like your, when we say this person is my G, this person is my core person. When I have when I need to take certain decisions, I need to reach out to them. So in my inner circle, I have those people. You can want to have as many as you want, but don't make it a crowd. Then you have friends, people who mean well for you, that that you make sacrifices for, that you do things together with. Usually friendship is born out of several experiences. So I could experience primary school, secondary, university with you, and then somehow over the test of time, you fall into this circle. It could be from the workplace, it could be from running a passion project, it could be from volunteering and all of that. Then we also have acquaintances. There are people that you just know, who know you, but you really don't know much about them. You just know them at a certain level. So an acquaintance that I probably met at a conference, an acquaintance that I know from the boss I take, defining what acquaintances are, and then by your interactions, you both know each other. And then we move to the people that you should know, right? So it's when you now find the people that you should know that you now decide where to place them. But then at the moment, they are outside of the circle. And one of the questions that you need to ask is, for you to even find the people that you should know, is to know like why you should be going out for such people. We will get there. But then in highlighting people that you should know, there are other questions that you should ask yourself. How can I get to know who I should know? So is somebody in the inner circle going to show you who you should know? Is it amongst your friends? Is it amongst your acquaintances? Maybe based on the conversation that you have. And whilst I have to dive deep into this is because there are people who want to get to somebody. They don't even know that the person they are looking for is related to somebody in their WhatsApp list, somebody that views their WhatsApp contact list all the time. Every day I wake up on my WhatsApp to new surprises. The number of people that view my status who know people I know. And then the number of people who view this status who know people that I need to know. I think that's even the very interesting part. So you need to work from inside out, I mean. You need to find out, like, how can I get to know who I should know? And then you need to ask questions where necessary. Who do you know that I should know? I think way back in 2018, 2019, I used to ask this question a lot. And I don't regret having to ask this particular question. Who do you know that I should know? Of course, I would just go and meet somebody and start saying, who do you know that I should know? You know, you will probably just sound like an impostor or maybe a potential kidnapper, because now you don't know anybody by their faces. I'm sorry to say, but you don't want to sound desperate and you're barging into people's lives and privacy. So you have to start with people that are within the circles before to help you find the people that are outside the circle. Another important thing is to look at the skills that you will require for a good networking. So most times we just we go out to these events, whether online or offline, and then we just I think that people are beginning to become very intentional these days. But then we just go out and we start having all sorts of conversation. I've had people ask me, are you married? I've had people asking, why are you not married? You know, there are questions that people ask you and you're like, okay, what's this person's thought process like? I don't know you from Adam. And you're asking me all this. How am I supposed, like, how do I put myself in that proper emotional state to answer you as a stranger, right? So there are skills, very important networking skills that we need to look at. Empathy is important. And empathy means that you see the human person first before you see whatever position it is that they occupy, right? You look at them first as human, whether they are big or small. The other day I wrote on my WhatsApp status that people who are accomplished want to talk about their accomplishments, but they do not want you to erase them from their accomplishments. So in networking, you want to look at empathy as something that is very important. You want to look at positivity as something that is very important. You also want to consider humor, right? So as with positivity, nobody likes negative vibes. You just come tell us all your problem. I'm looking for a job. I'm looking for some. So of course, it's important that you ask for help, but then timing is important also. So you want to try as much as possible to avoid anything that looks negative. You know, I used to say that one of the things that can help us do better sometimes is to actually try to play the words in our heads, chew some of them and see how it will feel when you swallow. And then you now open your mouth and you start talking. Over time, you get used to not necessarily being very careful or being censored. You get used to putting out positive vibes when you want to engage with people. A sense of humor is important. Personally, I'm a person of humor, and it's something that has helped me a lot, even in very difficult conversations, even in very difficult negotiations where I have to bargain for something, and I know that the room is tight, and I know that, man, the faces of these people, if I say anything anyhow, they will just take one decision and kick me out of there. Humor has been of very good importance. So it's important to know how to put that out so that you can lighten up the room and then hit the point where you need to hit it and close the conversation. Of course, communication skills are important, and that will involve knowing how to listen, of course, active listening. And I want to say that if you want to drive any conversation and you are not listening, you will not go far. The fuel in the tank of the conversation will just finish. The conversation car will just pack. And at the end of the day, the intention that you set for that engagement will be what? 0 times 0 equals what? 0. So with active listening, you learn a trick of finding something that the person is saying and using it to drive a conversation. right? So that's why it's important. Non-verbal communication, like your body language, how your face is. Your face should not be like my own, no, please. Especially when you're interacting with these people that you're meeting for the very first time, who you have not even had any online engagements with. Your face should not be like my face. Check out for your body language. Make sure you're not slouching. You're not, excuse me, your body posture it makes you look confident, makes you look like you know what you're doing. Because there are people that once you see them, they're just randomly poaching people at an event. They just want to put their net out in the river and catch anything that is catchable. And they end up looking very desperate. You know them, they are always in a hurry. They don't want to hear what you have to say. They just want to put out whatever it is. From their body language, you just know. And then also public speaking is important. These are things that you can learn over time, because sometimes in networking, you will find that, okay, I've been to an event where I met people that I knew, and I went to volunteer for that event because I made up my mind I wasn't going to do anything but to volunteer. So I said, okay, my area of strength is in documenting, is in writing. So I decided, let me take over the operations for the day and volunteer to do the registrations for these people as they come in. That was the British Council event in Enugu. That was in 2019 or so. 2019 November. No, 2018 November. And I got there, finished what we needed to do, and moved into the hall. And based on my interactions with a few people, I got a paper that said, you're going to come on stage and talk about healthcare and storytelling, and why creatives should also look towards that direction of using stories to address issues of public health concerns. And, that's like something that came impromptu. But you need to have some sort of skill with speaking to people in public for you to be able to accept that challenge. So it's not just #challenge accepted. You need to also, build the skills that are required for that. And then you need focus. You have a reason for engaging in that conversation. The reason could be that, you probably have this research you want to publish. You probably want to meet researchers that are doing so and so in this area of specialty. You want to get a job. You want an internship and all of that. Please remember that is keep that focus in mind. And then when you probably read the times and you feel that, that's not the right time, fine and good. But then focus is important with any conversation, so that you don't end up talking about other things. There are so many problems in the world. You want to talk about your passion project with somebody who is already doing something in that line, and then you end up insulting Buhari in the whole conversation. You know that you are going home with nothing. So it's important to keep focus in mind. And I've tried to put a link. It's also in the references. You can check out skillsyouneed.com for all sorts of skills: interpersonal skills, social skills, public speaking, empathy, communications, and all of that. Aside highlighting the skills that you need, there are also tools, and the tools are inexhaustible. I tried as much as possible to put out the ones that came to my mind as they were. And the first thing is to invest in your appearance. Now, let me tell you all something. I used to think that appearance didn't really matter much. Like, once you engage with me, you should know what's in my brain, and let's take it from there. I'm intelligent, I'm remarkable, and all of that. Then something happened to me, which I will not share, but it was not them saying you didn't look good, but it was me just thinking that maybe it was just something around that, and maybe my presentation skills and all of that wasn't top notch. But I think that one of the experiences that woke me up was remembering that in UNEC, in UNN, because that's where I graduated from, we used to have these mortuary postings as histopathology major. So if you were, histopathology student, so if you were a histo major or a histo minor, you would have to attend mortuary postings, and you would run for 3 months. That's like 90 days. And on one occasion, we got there, and the guy, the mortician, was showing us the things that he used for work. I saw powder. I saw the Vaseline, that's petroleum jelly. I saw a few other things. And I remember that experience, and I was like, if dead people need to look good for burial, what should be happening to people who are alive? I mean, they say life is for the living. It means you have to make out a little amount of money, not to get addicted to the point that you now depend on the appearance, that you are no longer prepared mentally for what it is that is to come, you know, in the engagement. But in most occasions, people see with their eyes and then make that assumption from the first impression that they've had. And then any other thing that you're saying, if they are closed-minded people, you are in trouble. There is no English that you will speak, no Spanish you will profess, no Latin you will open your mouth to speak that will change that notion, right? So it's important that you make out a certain amount of money if you're already working. If you're not working, just do good with what you already have, right? I'm not saying, like I said, don't dwell too much on wearing the makeup, wearing the lipstick that we can't even hear what you want to say, but find a balance. Appearance is important. We don't want to rule out that part. Then a smartphone helps you because there are so many things that you're able to do with a smartphone, right? Which is part of which is already listed below. You also need business cards when necessary. I need to put a warning on business cards because I've gone to an event where somebody gave me her business card and after 5 minutes came to collect it again because she said there was a bigger person in the room who needed to have it and not me, right? So it's important that you don't suffocate us with your business cards. And that's why there are other options. You have your Google address book. You can use, Google contacts. You can use that to take people's numbers, take their emails, and engage with them thereafter. You also have notepads that you need to take important information. I've highlighted Evernote, Google Doc, Google Keep, and as many others that are available. You can find them on your Android or iOS Play stores. You also need devices that you can use to set up meetings. So I've done interviews via WhatsApp, and the first time I had to do an interview via WhatsApp, I was really sort of surprised because nobody was asking to see my face. They just wanted to hear my voice and hear what I had to say. Well, in one occasion, I think we actually did a video call and all of that. But the thing is, if you want to nurture your contacts that you've collected from this networking, you want to have these things. You want to have maybe Google. Thank God all of them are now accessible thanks to Zoom. You want to have all these things handy. You want to have these tools so that you're able to set up meetings depending on the urgency. You also want to have calendars or schedulers. I mean, there are so many schedulers, and Google Calendar is one of them. Calendly too. Happy to learn that Calendly is owned by a Nigerian, so you can buy Naija to what? Grow Naija. You also need other things to organize yourself, depending on, so let's say I'm working on a passion project around getting children to get to read, and I have in this networking this event, I meet somebody, I network with them, they are passionate about supplying books and all of that to children, and we're planning on something. I need a place to organize my thoughts. Trello does it, Slack does it, Asana does it. And their design tools, Canva and Venngage, are also good for you to look at. And for those who don't know, if you don't have hard copy business cards, you can have soft copy business cards that you can work with, use Canva to design and print whenever you want, right? I also forgot to highlight the one-page CV of a thing. So I learned lately that there is this influencer that shared something about when she meets people at events and she has conversations with them, she follows up with an email and mails them a one-page CV. So these templates you can find on Canva, you can find on Venngage. Design something that really works, that is not too ambiguous, and then share with them just to make things memorable and to not just speak and then go away. Of course, have conversations and then follow up with action points. Where can you find people that you want to network with as a medical laboratory scientist? We have social media, of course, as many social media platforms as you can find. but find out where these particular people that you want to meet with engage the most. Most times it's on LinkedIn, right? Other times Twitter, Facebook is a place where people come to relax. So when you think of the timing and the kind of message that you want to put out, the weight of what it is that you want to ask for, you can now determine where to engage these people, assuming that they are active across all platforms. But if they are not active across all platforms, find the platform where they engage with the most and try to have a conversation with them. You can meet them at physical meetings. Of course, we're not having much of physical meetings at this point. We're having much of e-meetings, people meeting online, and all of that. You can also meet them at online events. Sorry, I have to take that randomly. At webinars, at e-conferences. One conference that you should really look out for, or two conferences that you should really look out for, are the Future of Health Conference. Because personally, there's a lot of, I have a lot of personal and professional testimonies from that particular conference that I might not be able to share here. Another conference is the AMSIN conference, or your AMSIN association meetings, or engage with online activities that involve your co-professionals. Because if you want to move within a profession, you have to build relationships within that profession. You have to build solid relationships within that profession, right? So it's important that you keep that at the back of your mind. So if you are a MedLab scientist going into research, you want to engage with MedLab scientists who are into research, and you can only find them in these associations, on social platforms, and in physical meetings, or through contacts of contacts. Which brings me to the last option, which is phone contacts. Like I said earlier, some of you are sit down, go through all your phone numbers, the phone numbers on your contact list. You cannot tell me you don't have people who are valuable that are there. Why are they even your friends in the first place, right? So you need to find all of that and get to engage with them through that. Now we're looking proper to how to network, and I try to look at it in three formats: before networking, what to do during networking, and what to do after networking. So before you try to network, you need to do all the mental work. You need to ask yourself what you want to achieve, be intentional, clarify your thoughts, right? You also need to ask yourself if you're prepared. That means you have to be purposeful, you have to be positioned. You have to make sure that you have something tangible to bring up. If you're going to talk about your passion project, if you're going to talk about the need that you have, opportunities that you're looking for, jobs, and all of that. You also want to have notes. I prefer, I'm an offline and online person, so sometimes I prefer sticky notepads. I have a lot of sticky notepads with me. So I get to draft a few things and then take them with me. Make up your mind to have a memorable interaction. So you want to ask yourself, how can I make it memorable? And how am I prepared to nurture this contact? I mean, if you're going there to sap people, to build a parasitic relationship, it's important for you to sit and think again. How can I be creative? How can I be resourceful? So with that, you're ready to get ahead to the networking event. So let's say you have gone, the speakers have spoken at the conference, and you want to meet a particular person who is into research, and you want to talk about the work that you are doing around blood flow and exercise and all of that. Just as many things that probably come to your head. These are just random. You want to, when you engage with these people, offline, of course, you want to be present. You want your attention to be there. You don't want to keep saying, say that again. What did you say? I didn't hear you, when there is no background noise. So you want to bring your mind to that event. You also want to make or ask for proper introductions. I've seen people calling people by 9 p.m. when nobody knows, like the person you're calling does not know you, and you're calling them by 9 p.m. to ask for a favor. I've seen people barge into people that they don't know. And it's important to state here that, please, when you don't have any connection with anybody whatsoever, and they are too high up there for you to approach, that you should ask for proper introductions. It's important. And I recall that in one of the occasions that I had to meet with somebody, I didn't know when they'll be leaving because there was security everywhere. And you cannot come and be dragging with you don't want to come and be opposing security guards that are there or security details that are there for the important personality. So I had to go through somebody to make an introduction. Somebody I know who knows this person, who made the introduction, and we had a very, very friendly conversation. You also want to start with icebreakers when you have this conversation. So you say, thank you very much. I love your presentation on amino acids and blah, blah, blah. I've been working on something similar, blah, blah, blah. Just find a connection, find icebreaker, start from somewhere. And of course, you don't want to start the icebreaker without acknowledging the person in front of you. And then one rule is to listen, and then engage. And if you're very smart with listening, you will find that from what it is that they say, you can find a connection to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about, and then drive the conversation to the area of focus that you want it to be driven to, and then get the attention that you need, and know what follow-up actions that you need to take. Another thing is to wear manners. It's not enough to just show up, and to, there's another option here to dress how you want to be addressed, which is important. You want to wear some manners. You see two people talking closely with themselves, there's something they must be talking about. Please don't go and tap them and say you want to take selfie. I beg you, in the name of God, and in the name of your village chief, and in the name of the people that you represent, don't just go and say you want to take a selfie. I want to have a word with you. When they're having a word with other people, the word they're having with other people, is it useless? You need to think in that direction. Then, of course, I said dress how you want to be addressed. Talk about something you're working on. Talk about something you're working on so that you can, drive that conversation to where you want it. Keep your cards handy and use them where you have to, or when you have to, when you need to. If you're engaging with people online, there are 4 things. You have to learn to make an introduction. Hello, I'm so and so person. Connect with them. That's the essence of connection. I met you in so and so place. I like your presentation, blah, blah, blah. I like that you know how to do. I like that you have an experience in blah, blah, blah. Make your proposal. I'm working on so and so. I'm working on getting a job. I'm looking forward to moving my career path. Please don't make negative statements that sound like, help me, I'm in trouble, I'm looking for work. Me too, I will be traumatized, and I'll have to take my time to answer you. So make the conversation in such a way that it's easier. People see that positive spiritedness in you, and it's easier for them to respond to whatever proposal. And then conclude appropriately with a request to a call to action. Can I call? Here's my number. Can I email you? And all of that. That's really important. And when you're nurturing your network, you need to remember that communication is important. Don't forget people. Once in a while, keep in touch. Give before you take, as much as you can. As much as you can afford. Give before you take. It's very important. People don't forget people who actually think of them, and not people who flock around looking for what to get. You can support your network by showing up for their events and amplifying their work across social media, or speaking to somebody who they probably need in their network to do better. Then a few words, some of which I've said before: don't bug people, don't be desperate, be authentic. There are so many people on LinkedIn carrying titles that I don't even know. CEO at self-employed, you have all conglomerates, and there's an issue we are dealing with now. Somebody owns like 5 chains of businesses, but you are in somebody's inbox asking for work. How do you want them to help you? This is something that's happening on LinkedIn, so you need to be careful. If you're engaging on social media with these people, understand that your thought process will not be the same with theirs. So you need to give that allowance for people to express their opinions, and then be discreet. If it's something that affects your personal principles, of course, you know what to do. And you have to be mature in handling differing opinions. Know when to ask for help. Read the time. Somebody just lost their wife. Then you want to find job. I'm trying to say, please be very discreet. And then to try to conclude, you want to learn more on how to be prepared for opportunities while you live a life that you intentionally desire. And you want to do that in spite of fear. A lot of us have fears. I have fears. My own came like 30 minutes even before this presentation. But it's important to know that the best action that you will take that you will not regret is the one that you do in spite of fear. And that's why I'm recommending that you get a copy of The Utterly Shameless, a book I wrote that highlights a lot of things in about 44 chapters. that tells you what steps to take. Actually, if you're a creative person like me, who has a lot that they are interested in and who want to have, a point of focus from which they will now diverge. This is really important. Be seen by professional colleagues. Take a course on how to ethically use social media. Of course, we'll get that. We get that in the next sessions that will come. On Lua will take us and we'll learn more of that. And of course, be seen by the patients that you want to serve. There's a website here, www.navihealth.ai. You can go sign up, position yourself as a MedLab scientist, and tell us the services that you offer within your organization as an individual and maybe in the field or as volunteer. All these are important. Now, for us not to have said too much and then go, these are the final tasks that you need to look at and take. And thankfully, I have shared these slides with the summit team. They're going to make it across to everybody who has registered. If you register with your email address, you're going to get it. If you did not, please go and register so that you will get it. You won't get it here on YouTube. Ask yourself the number one question: who do you need to know for where you want to be? Make a list of 5 people you need to know. Of course, as it comes to your mind, please don't wait. Make a list. Look for 3 places that you can find them: 2 offline, 2 online, 1 offline, or as many channels you can find them. And then use the ICPC method that I just spoke about to engage with them, because of course you don't have many options for physical events. You can only do online. So use the ICPC method: introduction, connection, proposal, conclusion, to engage with these people, and then follow it up from there. So these are my references, and I want to thank you very much for staying with me and listening to this session. I do not take it for granted. I appreciate every single one of you. And like I said, the slides will be made available to us all. If you have any questions, please put them forth, and I'm willing to take them now.
A lot has been.
I can share my screen.
A lot has been said. A lot has been said.
Yeah.
I think that people should, while you were talking, what just came to my mind, I think we have to preserve this this presentation, and have people walk around it again. It has a lot of information that anybody who is coming up in the profession should. The era we've entered now, if you're not connected, you can't move forward.
Sure.
You don't have people who have been where you're going, you can't get there. If at all you now want to you want to create a path for yourself, it's going to take you a longer time. So thank you, Chidindu, for this awesome time you've allowed us to share some of the things that we don't take it lightly. I need you to understand that. And
you're welcome. I'm glad that everyone appreciates it.
Yes, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate your. Let's get there and see if there are questions.
Any questions?
Please, if you have any question, can you just put it up there so that we can look at it and respond as quickly as we can? We have people saying thank you.
I'm happy to take questions. Please ask me question. No, please ask me question. Even if it's the one you think I don't know, ask me. If I don't know it, I'll say I don't know. But because this is a networking, it's true. This is a networking session. I will probably know somebody who might be able to answer, and I will refer appropriately through the summit team. So there's nothing there. Just ask them all.
Let's see whether people will be asking the questions. Perhaps in the next 2 minutes we'll be rounding off this session, so that we've actually been here since 3 p.m. About the first 2 hours, then an hour before, now another hour. Let's see what we get here.
Okay.
Please, if you have any question, just put it up on the comment section so that we'll look at it and respond to it as quickly as we can.
Augusta says, okay, no selfies. Selfies are important for social proof, but what I mean is that you should make it memorable, so that you're not just taking selfies. There's something that you can take away, at the end of that conversation, and that person will, when you're engaging with that person next time, they know that, oh, they had that
Yes.
conversation with you. My mama na pastor says, great presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you, Christopher Chuku. Thank you. Thank you, Augusta. Thank you, Favor. Thank you.
It's all right, Chidindu. Thanks for your time. We will be wrapping up here, and we are hoping that we'll
You're
present
welcome.
on.
You can always do this again and again and again. I'm always happy to do this.
Thanks a lot. We appreciate this call. All
You're
right. Thank
welcome.
you. Yeah, we'll see you at the other
Bye.
side. Thank you.
Okay.
So, guys, that's the much we can take on. So, guys, that's the much we can take on this night's session. I believe you've been blessed. I've been blessed. I've heard a lot of things that have challenged myself, and it's not just us organizing this program for you, ourselves here. We This program was also organized for ourselves to be blessed, and it's been starting from the first session on thought leadership to the entrepreneurship to vaccine production and now to networking. So we believe that you take your time, assimilate all the information that has been released here. And before I go, please subscribe. Click the subscribe button and also touch the notification button so that whenever we come on live, you get a notification. And we are glad that we've come this far. Tomorrow we continue. So don't think that it's all done. It's not all done. We just started today. We still have tomorrow. We still have day after tomorrow to continue. We still have about 8 speakers lined up to bless our lives, to speak into our lives, and tomorrow is going to be powerful. We're going to send out emails, and all the materials that we've gotten from our previous speakers, we forwarding it to your email. So if you've not subscribed, look for the link for the subscription in your social medias, on our WhatsApp platform. You find it there and subscribe so that when we send out the